The episode begins with Mordecai and Rigby facing a low point in their usual routine, likely after a string of minor failures or frustrating events in the park. Their morale is unusually low, and their tendency toward pessimism begins to affect not only their own behavior but also the park's atmosphere. Pops, or another well-intentioned character, notices their negativity and suggests a positive mindset, inspiring them, or forcing them, to attempt a day of thinking positively. Mordecai is cautiously optimistic about the idea, while Rigby approaches it haphazardly, misunderstanding the concept and often misapplying it in absurd ways. This sets the central comedic tension: Mordecai's tentative, measured optimism versus Rigby's chaotic, over-the-top attempts to enforce positivity at all costs. The inciting incident occurs when Mordecai and Rigby commit to a think positive challenge, aiming to see how adopting an upbeat perspective can transform their day. What begins as a simple mental exercise quickly escalates into a series of surreal events, as Rigby's overzealous and literal interpretation of positivity inadvertently triggers exaggerated consequences. For instance, attempts to ignore negative outcomes may lead to reckless decisions, such as ignoring safety, skipping rules, or overestimating their abilities. Mordecai, trying to maintain a more rational approach, finds himself caught between guiding Rigby and participating in the increasingly chaotic adventure. As the episode progresses, their experiments with positivity escalate beyond mental attitude into physical, environmental, and surreal exaggeration. Ordinary situations, like cleaning, park chores, or casual interactions, become opportunities for over-the-top interpretations of positivity. Objects may behave unpredictably in response to their mindset, such as tools floating when praised, animals acting unusually cooperative, or scenery changing in visually improbable ways that reflect the character's mental state. Secondary characters, including Benson, Muscle Man, High Five Ghost, and Pops, appear as witnesses, commentators, or inadvertent antagonists, amplifying both the comedy and the stakes. Benson may insist on responsibility despite their positive thinking, while Muscle Man and High Five Ghost mock or challenge their optimism, adding layers of conflict. The thematic tension focuses on the balance between optimism and recklessness. Mordecai tries to stay practical while adopting a genuine positive attitude, recognizing the benefits of mindset without sacrificing reason. Rigby, however, treats positivity as a license to ignore consequences and pursue impulsive actions, highlighting how misapplied optimism can create chaos. The episode uses surreal exaggeration to illustrate the consequences of excessive positivity, turning minor decisions into exaggerated, high-stakes scenarios. For example, a small mechanical task may spiral into a series of impossible challenges, animals may intervene in absurd ways, or everyday objects may react unpredictably, all symbolizing how mindset can distort perception and outcomes. The turning point occurs when Rigby's misinterpretation of positivity leads to a full-blown crisis or dangerous situation. Perhaps an unattended machine malfunctions, a playful risk escalates into a literal hazard, or surreal environmental effects spiral out of control. Mordecai realizes that they must temper their optimism with careful planning, reasoning, and cooperation if they hope to resolve the situation. At this stage, the episode's visuals reach peak exaggeration, blending slapstick action, improbable physics, and surreal effects that amplify the tension and comedy simultaneously. The environment reacts almost as a character itself, reflecting the impact of their attitudes on reality. The climax unfolds as Mordecai and Rigby must combine their understanding of positivity with practical skills to restore balance. Mordecai provides strategic guidance, directing Rigby to channel energy productively rather than recklessly, while Rigby contributes unconventional improvisation that turns out to be critical for success. Together, they navigate the surreal chaos, diffuse dangers, and achieve a resolution that demonstrates the power of collaboration. The exaggerated visual and narrative elements culminate in a spectacle that reinforces the episode's themes: Optimism is valuable when balanced with awareness, discipline, and teamwork. The resolution restores the park and the environment to normalcy, though minor comedic consequences remain, such as objects misbehaving, leftover chaos, or a humorous mishap highlighting Rigby's persistent impulsiveness. Mordecai and Rigby reflect briefly on the experience, acknowledging the importance of mindset while recognizing the need for moderation. Benson may deliver a humorous scolding for any remaining destruction or negligence, while Pops, Muscle Man, or High Five Ghost provide light-hearted commentary. The final beat often features a small gag that emphasizes their enduring comedic dynamic, Rigby attempting to over-apply positivity one last time, resulting in a minor mishap, and Mordecai reacting with exasperated amusement. Think Positive exemplifies regular show's skill at turning simple psychological or behavioral concepts into surreal, comedic adventures. By blending character-driven humor, exaggerated consequences, and absurd visuals, the episode explores themes of optimism, responsibility, and the balance between enthusiasm and recklessness. Mordecai's grounded approach complements Rigby's impulsive energy, reinforcing their dynamic and illustrating how thoughtful application of positive thinking can transform chaos into manageable success while preserving the series' signature humor and surreal escalation.